Welcome to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast series. Here we talk about all things franchising. What is it all about? Is it for you? How do you find the best one to own? And so much more. Now your host, Tim Parmeter.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning into the latest edition of the FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach, and your Franchising 101 host. We have a guest joining us today, and it is from, we've got a CEO. We got a big dog coming from one of our franchise partners. And really, it is a franchise that is the absolute drop dead best of the bunch in their industry. So excited to talk to them, learn a little bit more about their franchise, and really in particular, you're going to hear the word culture, support, those type of things are going to ooze through everything that they do today. So super excited to share this story with you. But first, before we tell you that one, we have to, of course, tell you this one. So who the heck is FranCoach? Well, we are a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals who are interested in owning a franchise. We are partnered with well over 500 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning nearly 60 industries. Our goal is to help our clients find the absolute best franchise for them to own. And the goal of the Franchising 101 series is to help educate people on all aspects of franchise ownership. Okay, so that is a bit about us. Now let's get to our guest. Today, we have the absolute pleasure of speaking with the CEO of a franchise called Focal Point Coaching. These guys are clearly one of the leaders in franchising, number one, but certainly in the coaching and consulting space. So we're excited to have Mr. Steve Thompson join us today. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tim. It's fun to be here.
Well, you just got here, so hold off on that until we get until we put you through the ringer. But we got a bunch of questions we're going to fire at you about Focal Point. But first, like way better than Focal Point, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. I always just kind of personally enjoy like kind of the stories of how people even get into the crazy world that is franchising. So give us a scoop on Steve, man.
Sure. Yeah, happy to share. I was educated in Montana. I had a football scholarship, so played down there. And I had a very short career as a professional football player. This is a life-size version of me. So my tenure in football was not going to be too long. What I did do after that is I used my degree and I got into the corporate world, like a lot of people do. And I learned early on that it wasn't a fit for me, and fit and culture are very important to myself and to the coaches that join our team. In the corporate world, I grew up with a lot of great values: transparency, authenticity, congruency were all very, very important to me and are to this day. And when I got into the corporate world, I experienced a lot of bureaucracy, red tape, politics, and things that just weren't congruent with who I was. And after trying unsuccessfully, trying 3 different corporate positions, I ended up deciding, well, I have to be an entrepreneur. I need to own my own business and control what that culture looks like. I think a lot of that desire came from my father. He was an entrepreneur. I learned a lot of lessons through him. Just really important to find that right fit. And culturally, I wanted to do that myself. So way back in the mid 90s, dating myself a little bit, I got into the space of digital audio, and myself and some partners had a digital audio company that turned into a fairly big one, and we did really well from that. And after that, I decided, okay, not going to go back to the corporate world. I had my first successful exit from a company, and what am I going to do next? So, not wanting to go back to the corporate world, I really zeroed in on franchising right away. One of the reasons I zeroed in on it is I'd owned my own business, and not that it wasn't wonderful, but that's a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. You're inventing all the systems, you're trial by error, and you're paying for a lot of the mistakes you're doing because there's no proven system in front of you. And that taught me that franchising would be a great way to go. I did not have the help of a Tim Parmeter. I did not have the help of a franchise coach. I sure wish I did. Probably could have saved me some time and money. But I stumbled around by myself and finally got into the business coaching franchise world. And that ultimately, having success there, led me to partnering with Brian Tracy, myself and my executive team, we partnered with Brian and his leaders and started Focal Point. And that's way back in 2004, officially, functionally January 2005. But we did it because, and I did it because I really saw the value of franchise systems. And, I think I'm a pretty driven guy, but I didn't want to recreate the wheel from scratch. I wanted to take someone else's process and systems, use it to the best of my ability and run with it versus spend that extra 20 or 30 hours a week inventing all the processes. So it was a lot of fun getting involved in it. And that was officially launching in January 2005. It's been, about 18 years, and we've had a lot of fun doing it.
It's crazy how long that has been. That's very rare, which also means you've found the place to stay anywhere that long, right? So that is fantastic. You talk about the systems and those extra 20 or 30 hours a week trying to create them, figuring them out. Then you got to wait 3 months, 6 months to see, did it work? Was that totally wrong? And all that trial and error. And I just love your point more than anything about franchising. It's already figured out. It's the proven system. So
yeah,
plug that in and play. And you were a football guy. I was a basketball guy in college. And I think there's just, and not to derail this on this whole other thing, but I'm very biased towards athletes because they like driven, right? The motivation, the dedication, the understanding, hey, here's the game plan, follow that and good things are going to happen. Deviate and you're going to get your butt kicked, right? And same thing from a franchising standpoint. Put forth the effort, follow the plan, do what you're supposed to do. Good things are going to happen. So I love that kind of correlation.
Yeah, and playing as a part of a team member as well. That's something that's really valuable. It's actually one of our core culture points is team. There's a lot of different systems that are great, and you can join and be a part as an independent, which is wonderful for those systems. In ours, we really look for our team members, our coaches, our franchisees to be invested in the team, because Focal Point's made better by the team members that join. And we've got over 250 of these around the world, and they feed back information to us. So when we're working in an industry, we're getting information on that industry, not on one client example, but several, hundreds and thousands of clients, so that we can, as a team, get better and improve and help other businesses around the world.
And working with you guys for as long as I have, it's one thing for people to say, oh, we've got this culture, it's collaborative, we're a team, blah, blah, blah. And more times than not, it's a bunch of crap, right? I got a bunch of things I want to get into on Focal Point, but I'll say this for you from my experience. Not once have we had a FranCoach client look at Focal Point, even if they didn't move forward, maybe they did something else. Every single one of them they walked away going, wow, these guys are awesome. They really walk what they're talking. The systems, the support, the people, and I'm not kidding, every single person has come back with high praise for Focal Point, for your team, for your owners. So like if somebody's listening to this and going, yeah, that team culture, blah, 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 I'm with you most of the time, not with Focal Point. So just always been blown away by that.
Well, I thank you for that. And, people ask me about our culture, and the best word to describe it is that it's real. We definitely have culture points of balance and team and leadership and actually profitability, which is a great one. And it's real. And that's what's most important, because there's a lot of words on paper, there's words in PowerPoints, and if they're not practiced, if they're not lived, it's not real. And with our coaches, it lives and breathes every day. It's intertwined in everything we do. And that makes it a really fun environment for people to work in, provided they fit that culture. So no matter where someone goes, and certainly, as you know, I'm an advocate of entrepreneurship and the franchise industry, even if it's not with Focal Point, align yourself with the culture that you want to be involved with. That's what's important. Then you'll get out of bed with a skip in your step and a hop in your stride, and it'll be a lot more fun. With us, having the team aspect is critical. And another one, just to point out real quick, is one of our culture points is balance. And there's a lot of companies that portray that culture point of balance that don't have it. We actually ingrain it in our system. We have block scheduling that ensures the coach, we teach the coach how to have balance. A lot of the corporate people that we have coming to Focal Point, they've worked 60, 70, 80 hours a week. They're used to hard work. They don't need to do that here. And we actually have to reprogram them that it's okay to work smarter. It's okay to block schedule. It's okay to have that reasonable work week and have balance in your life. And it's not only practiced here, it's celebrated. So when someone's off coaching their kids at soccer or on a vacation or doing something for themselves, whether it's like myself off on a mountain bike race or something like that, we don't get looked at with the skunk eye. It's more so congratulations and way to go. And I can't wait to hear how your kids did at the pageant or at the play or at the soccer game. So yeah, it's real.
No, without question. And that's the driver. I've been doing this for 7 years. It was the driver for me. I have an 8-year-old and was starting this. So I had that flexibility and freedom. And literally yesterday morning, they had their little holiday. He's in 3rd grade. Their little holiday thing, which it was basically maybe the greatest musical ever existed, right? Was his 3rd grade class singing a couple songs. But I didn't have to ask permission. I didn't have to feel guilty about doing it. I bolted, man. I went over there and saw it, and it was awesome, right? And so and I think that lifestyle piece, and I did it myself. I'm sure you've done it and still kind of have to do it, but it's lifestyle. It's that control over what you're doing. So and again, I love that you got, and I know, and just for anybody listening, it's no BS, man. It is really practiced and celebrated within Focal Point. So. Very cool. So, but let's go way back to the beginning. What the heck is Focal Point, right? So somebody's like, oh, this sounds all awesome. Talk a little bit, just maybe as if somebody's a consumer, right? Or just the services and kind of who your customers are for Focal Point.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it all comes back again to our culture and foundationally what our purpose is. And we're a very purpose-driven company, and we're here to serve our clients. And the results with our clients, that's why we've been around for 18 years. We get results with our clients. Now, what does that actually look like? Because we have all sorts of different types of client base. And I guess I'll just outline a few of the revenue streams. It'll give it more perspective. We do one-on-one coaching. That's our, the old Vince Lombardi blocking and tackling. We do one-on-one coaching. It works. Practice it, get great at it, and you will be successful in all the other revenue streams. So that's kind of the blocking and tackling. We're world renowned with our one-on-one coaching. And then we have a lot of different revenue streams to offer. Now, that doesn't mean the coach would do all of them. They would sort of pick the tools from the toolbox or the arrows from the quiver, which ones fit for them. Again, getting back to our culture, which everything does, sorry to keep mentioning it, but we don't want someone to do something they're not comfortable with. Like we do workshops and seminars. Well, some people aren't comfortable public speaking, then they don't do them. That's fine. Some people love it, then they do more of it. That's fine. So we do, workshops, seminars, training, corporate training, small to medium enterprise business training. We do executive coaching, business coaching one-on-one. We have, mastermind groups, CEO forums. We sell assessments, and we have over 35 assessments in our assessment center. We have a finance center within Focal Point where we do industry benchmarking, expense reduction analytics. We do business valuation. We do so much, and it's all to serve the client. And these aren't right or wrong things. This is the way we're constructed. So for us, we want the coach who owns their own business as a franchise owner to be an entrepreneur and pick and choose what they like to do. Then they're going to do it more. They're going to do it better. So we don't tell someone you have to do expense reduction analytics because that may be boring to someone. And to someone else with a higher compliance trait in the DISC profile, they may like it. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. If they want to do it, then they can enlist the help of our finance center to do it. So it's all about making sure that the franchise owner, the coach, constructs their practice in the way they want. And then that lends itself further to the type of people that we have coming in. And some of those people, they're very experienced. They may be doing this in retirement, not for retirement. So they may only want to coach 3, 4, 5 clients. Well, that's fine. They've got a great offset or supplement to their retirement income. They're giving back. They're fulfilling. They're getting a lot of fulfillment from the work that they do. And that's great. And then we have others that, really want to work a full week. They want to work that 40-hour a week and they want to really drive their business hard. Well, they may want to do assessments, one-on-one coaching, workshops, seminars, form strategic alliances to gain client base in these different areas. So they may add more of those arrows to their quiver, or in the quiver to their practice. We want the business coach to build the practice their way. We just give them the systems and tools to do it.
Again, system and tools, right? Support, all of those things, right? But the
surprise, yeah,
right. Go figure, right? So the theme of the show is, but the revenue stream piece, just for anybody maybe listening that doesn't know anything about franchising or things in this industry, but that business coaching, consulting, training, development. I mean, there are a dozen or so franchises out there that kind of touch on that some way, but most of them are very niche based. They do one thing, they do only one thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Franchising all about finding that perfect fit. But to me, the cool thing with Focal Point is you guys have line items as revenue streams that are entire other franchises, right? You mentioned the expense, the expense thing just as an example, or the executive coaching or the group coaching. There are things that only do that, but this gives you the opportunity, even if somebody maybe doesn't think that they would want to do that, all of a sudden they get in a couple of years and they get 2 or 3, 4 or 5 people asking about it. I'm like, well, ka-ching, ka-ching, right? Hey, it's another way that I can help, because that's really what this is at the core. Is you're going in working mostly with kind of small to mid-sized businesses, right? And helping them improve, helping them get better, which again, the community effect that's going to have on that as well, right? So the fact that they've got all of those revenue streams, and it's not a have to, it's a choose, pick, add as you want down the road, is really amazing.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Tim. And having the experience we do, well, there's this old adage that we have here, and it's anything is possible, everything is not. So what we've learned over the years is, depending upon the coach and how they want to build their business, we have the systems and tools to build upon one another. So you don't try to do everything day one, because you become a master of none. And based on the revenue streams they want to have, we teach them which ones would be best to start in, phase 1, and then what to add phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Based on what you learn in phase 1, we can efficiently add the next revenue streams for them. So again, just saving them time and money.
Perfect. So for somebody that's coming in as an owner, well, I guess what do you look for? Do they have to have this huge background with consulting and coaching type of thing? What are some of the things that you look for?
Well, we'll take Bill Gates, we'll take Warren Buffett. They qualify, we really do have talented people on our team. And the best way to describe it is we look for people with really good, solid business leadership and acumen. And that can come in a myriad of ways. It can come from owning a business. It can come from being a decision maker in a business, a manager in a business. So we look at their business background very holistically. There's no predetermined, this is what they should or shouldn't have. What they will have is great business experience, either in the corporate world or owning their own business. That's kind of number one. And then we look for a cultural fit. I know, again, it comes back to a cultural fit. They've got to really fit who we are and why we're here. We're here to serve our clients. So a lot of the coaches coming in are driven, they're purpose driven. They kind of been there, done that, and have done okay, but they really want their next phase to be more meaningful. Now, one of our culture points is profitability, so they have to make money doing it as well and do well. But they also are driven by the value that the client is going to get, and they're driven by that success. So that's another big part of it. One of the misnomers is, sometimes people think, oh, well, you guys have such great sales training, and Brian Tracy's a world-renowned sales expert. Do I need a sales background? And that's actually not the case. We're really just looking for people with great business experience, and people that can communicate well, articulate themselves well, can have business conversations. Some salespeople would be great at this, and some wouldn't, because, as you know, many salespeople are hunters and they're not farmers, and so they want to hunt it, kill it, move on. Right. Well, that's not this. We bring on, and what we say is we onboard clients. We don't sell them. Not business coaching is bought, not sold. So we onboard our clients, and then we want them to stay not for days or weeks or months, but stay for years and even decades. So we've had coaches with us for over 10 years. They have clients for over 10 years. Right. The profitability in business coaching is in keeping clients, not getting clients. So they don't necessarily need sales experience. They just need good, well-rounded business and management experience.
Right. And to use kind of the athlete analogy again, sometimes people will say, well, why would a business owner want coaching? Like they're already doing well. Well, LeBron James does okay, right? He's made a decent career from a basketball perspective, or a Tom Brady, right? Like, do you know how many people they have around them? Obviously they have their coach, but then they have their positional coach, and they're training their weight coach. They've got their personal coaches that are doing, like, making them meals, whatever it is. It's the same thing as a business owner. If you're really looking to improve, succeed, have that long-term sustainability, you're going to have that awareness of like, there's no way I know everything and am great at everything, right?
Yeah.
Which the other thing I wanted to ask you about, kind of along with that, is we'll hear from our clients that we talk to Focal Point about. It's like, somebody will be like, well, my background is, I was in this particular industry, whatever it is. Well, you're not stuck there, right? If I start Tim's consulting company versus Focal Point, I'm stuck with what I know, right? But I could have a background in, I don't know, oil and gas, right? And I could come in and work with a client in any industry because of, again, the support, the training, the things like that you guys have in place. Talk a little bit about that, because it really opens up the potential for everything, right?
Absolutely. And again, this comes back to the coach making that decision. We have a lot of coaches that come to us, and they come from an industry, and they've got an amazing amount of contacts in that industry, and they want to stay in that industry. And that's fine. However, what's almost more common is someone's worked in an industry for a long period of time and never wants to see that industry again. They sort of run away from it now that they're free of those corporate handcuffs, and they don't want to be in that industry. And that's okay, because the most value we can bring to a client is not teaching them how to do their craft better. So not teaching a glass manufacturer how to make better glass. Like, that's not my job.
Right.
My job is to make sure the business and the business owner, the business leader, can do their job better, can make their business better. So our principles in business, they are across all industries. We can apply them, and their specific niche knowledge of how to make better Teflon, like, that's not us. Right. We don't want them in an accounting practice. We don't want to teach them how to have better accounting practices. We want to teach them how to build a better business. So all of our principles apply to businesses across all industry. And so for us as a coach, we get to choose which industries we want to work in. And again, this is not a right or wrong, good or bad. It's just the way we do it. You get a coach as a franchisee, and with your coach, you will determine what vertical you want to work in. Do you want to go deep, or do you want to go wide? Do you want to choose multiple? And it's a really big part of the onboarding process. And our support team does a great job of helping the coach identify what market they want to be in. Defining the target market is one of the critical steps in the onboarding process, because if you don't define that properly, the onboarding and sales process won't work properly. The coaching won't work properly because you didn't identify it first at the start. I know it sounds simple, but if you don't start properly, you're ultimately not going to finish it properly.
Right. No, and I just talk about the different revenue streams, but it gives people, if I'm a Focal Point coach and somebody walks up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I have this, this dentist practice and we're not making any money, whatever. I'm like, I know I'm supposed to brush my teeth, but that's about the extent I know about being a dentist. They're not asking me how to, like, fill a cavity. They've got that part. They need, is it the marketing, the customer service, the HR? Is it financial? Where's all the money going? Those are things, as Focal Point, you can come in and say, yes, dentist owner or whatever it is. You don't ever have, to me, I think it's cool because you don't ever have to turn anybody away because you're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. People that start franchises do so in industries they rarely have any experience in. People that start their own business do so because that is their area of expertise. That's not what they need help with. They're the doer. They need help with everything else, which brings you guys into play. And again, what I think is just cool is like whatever somebody needs, like you're their go-to people for it, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you picked a great example too. The dental industry, that may not pop to someone's mind right off the bat as a normal client for us. We've coached hundreds of dentists, and if you're training and coaching a dentist, they don't want to hear about sales. They don't call anything in their business sales.
Right.
But case acceptance and reducing no-shows, those are hot buttons. Okay,
Right.
It's all
Right.
still sales of some capacity, and teaching those generalized principles helps them build their business bigger.
Right. And there's no business out there, I mean, with exception of Focal Point and FranCoach, clearly, but every other business out there could use some help, some coaching, some guidance, some area of their business that can improve. Right. There's
Definitely including us, as you know, and personally in November, I had, I think it was 8 coaching sessions for myself from a coach. And I know that may seem like a lot, and that's certainly not the norm, but maybe I just am a special case that needs more.
Well, the main reason why I wanted you guys on was really, I was just trying to get a discount on some coaching for
There you go.
so whatever it takes. So, and I know you're super busy, man, and we could probably go on for hours just on Focal Point. The biggest thing I think we've touched on a few times is the support, the culture, the collaborative nature with owners is fantastic. But and again, to be respectful of your time, is there anything else maybe we haven't talked about that you're like, oh man, we've got to really let everybody know this about Focal Point?
Well, I guess. There's thousands of things, but to tie it up today, one big thing I want to get across, and it's not a Focal Point thing. Anybody listening to this podcast is probably thinking about entrepreneurship, and whether it's Focal Point or not, we love entrepreneurs. That's why we started our model this way. We could have hired corporate coaches. That's not what we want. We want to create entrepreneurs and business owners, and that's what franchising does. So no matter what anybody does, if they become an entrepreneur, just thumbs up. Second thing to that is do something that you have a passion for. Do something that you love. I mean, there are so many opportunities out there. Find one that matches your passion, and then you'll do it better, stronger, faster, etc. I guess the only last point for us as Focal Point, I know we talked a bit about balance and that kind of thing. This really is something that changes the franchisee, the coach for Focal Point. It changes their life. When you leave, in many cases, the corporate world where you work in 60, 70, 80 hours a week, or you're the Delta 1 million miler, you're the United 1 million miler. We travel for fun now. We don't travel because we have to, and travel becomes fun again. You get to coach your kid at soccer, you get to have some, and you may have missed out a little bit, and maybe your grandchild versus your child. But for us, and anything you need to know about Focal Point, it's a well-balanced opportunity where you can have a lifestyle as well. So I guess that's the last thing I'd mention.
Yeah, no, and I love that. And the passion piece, I think, is really is key. And sometimes people confuse passion with the industry that they've been in, but it's, you use the phrase that we talk about a lot. It's the get out of bed test, right? You're the one's got to get out of bed. You got to go do this. What do you like? Kind of people, do you want to talk to business owners? Is that what you want? Do you want to talk to 18-year-old kids that are flipping burgers at your business, right? It doesn't, there's no right or wrong. It's figuring that out, because that's what's going to get you up out of bed and not roll over and flip on Netflix for the day, right? So
exactly.
That's fine once in a while too, but get out and do it. So no, this is awesome. Steve, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate your time. I feel like there's a bunch more. We need to have you back and get a little deeper into some things with Focal Point. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Really appreciate it, Tim. And I appreciate your work in the industry as well. Keep making those entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you.
For all of our loyal podcast listeners, we hope the Franchising 101 series continues to provide insight into the amazing possibilities that can be achieved as a franchise owner. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Also, check us out online. Our website for the podcast specific is franchising101podcast.net. Our main FranCoach site is francoach.net, and we're everywhere on social media if you haven't followed us there as well. Lastly, if you would like to learn more about becoming a franchise owner, whether that's for Focal Point or any of our franchise partners, then let's schedule a brief introductory call. Click the link in your podcast window, or again, find us online at francoach.net, send us a message. There's never any fee for our service, so we encourage you to take that first step today to help create your better tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast, where our ultimate goal is to help educate you on all things franchising so you can create your better tomorrow.